The children of light is gonna understand this.
For there are three philosophical sects among the Jews, the followers of the first of which are the Pharisees, of the second, the Sadducees, and the third sect, which pretends to a severer discipline, are called the Seeds. These last are Jews by birth and Jews by birth.
This is the knowledge of the unseen brotherhood. This is the knowledge of the unseen brotherhood. This is the knowledge of the unseen brotherhood. Taking it back to the way that it was in the beginning.
Yeah. All right. First and foremost, peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath. Want to say all praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Yeshua Christ, our Lord, our God, our Savior, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is the Essene Community Church of Christ. My name is Archbishop Shamar.
And I'm Bishop Mike Allah.
And we be bringing you today's Sabbath report/lesson. All right, once again, we're going into the fallen angels and giants, the revelation of the flesh. All right, we're at part 3. All right, so once again, fallen angels and the giants, the revelation of the flesh. All right, and from the first part, we've been going and showing that, hey, Christ has told us, all right, that the coming of the Son of Man is going to be the same as the times of Noah. All right, and he gave us the understanding that if you want to look to a time to have an understanding of what it's going to be like when I'm coming, to look to the times of Noah. So we went to look to the times of Noah, and we seen that the sons of God were sleeping with the daughters of men. And we've been analyzing that scripture. We've been going through different translations, and we went into the Aramaic, and we seen that once again, yes, the sons of God, all right, went into the daughters of men. We've seen it in Enoch that the sons of God are the angels, all right. But we also now seen the problem, not that they just went into the daughters of men, but why they went into the daughters of men have been taken out of the translations, all right. So going into the Aramaic, the Parashat translation, we've seen that it says that the sons of God came down into the daughters of men because of the revelation of the flesh. All right. And basically, we were at a time where the women were operating differently and started to reveal themselves. All right. As Satan was tempting the sons of Seth through the daughters of Cain. So the daughters of Cain began to dress certain ways in order to tempt the sons of Seth into sin, to make them fall. And with that happening, the watchers watching began to be tempted by the woman's flesh. All right, they assumed themselves to come as men, beautiful men, stars, angels, right, disguised as men, and the woman committed adultery with them. All right, and they got turned into sirens. All right, the children from them became giants. The giants became demons. All right, we went through how they went through the clash of the titans, that the Most High, as punishment, made the angels watch their children fight to the death. And we went into how that's displayed in the movies of the clash of the titans, all right, Greek mythology, all of that stuff displays the wars that was happening between the children. All right, and we're now getting into the frame of why the Most High is telling us to watch before that time, to watch the times of Noah, because the same things are going to be transpiring. All right, and we've been getting through what happened at the times of Noah, but we're going to start getting into what's going to transpire coming back. All right, in these times, how it's going to all transpire again. All right, so once again, I want to say peace and blessings. This is Fallen Angels and the Giants, the Revelation of the Flesh. We are at part 3, and we're going to start at Isaiah 53, verse 1.
This is the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
All right, so who has believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? We always go to Isaiah 53 and 1 to begin. All right, because even in Isaiah's time, he had to ask, who's going to believe the report? All right, we go into belief. That word in the etymology means be willing. So who's going to be willing after they hear the report, after they hear the news? All right, who's going to believe the report of the prophets? Who's going to be willing to do the things in the report that they're being told about? All right, and who is the arm of the Lord revealed? We know that arm stands for power. All right, arms is power. So we got firearms. Arms symbolizes power. So who is the arm of the Lord? Who is the power of God been revealed to? Right, these are questions people have to ask themselves. All right, but when you hear the report, if you're going to believe, all right, then the person showing you it, do they have the power of God? Going into the Old Testament, that's why they asked Moses, hey, show us a sign, show us something, show us that the power of God is with you. All right, and the Most High gave Moses signs to give them belief and faith. All right, but Christ came and said, all right, a wicked and adulterous nation seeketh a sign, and no sign shall be given it but the sign of Jonah, right? Which that was Jonah being in the belly 3 days, all right, and coming out, which that's Christ's resurrection, all right, his death and resurrection. So there's no signs. We're not to trust in signs because we know that who's coming with signs? They tell us in the New Testament. Satan's coming with all signs and lying wonders. All right, so trusting in signs to see the power of God, all right, instead of understanding the report, understanding the lesson, all right, understanding the information, all right, that's a different thing. And we go into the new covenant, that the new covenant's not about signs now, it's about confirmation. So confirmation means you're strengthening your belief. You want something to strengthen your belief, while signs means you want something to make you believe. All right, so signs, show me a sign, means you don't believe and you got to show me something to make me believe. Confirmation in the New Testament means I already believe. God, give me something to strengthen my belief, right? Which is coming from a different aspect. All right, so we're gonna go to Sirach 1 and 6. And once again, that's out the KJV Apocrypha, which was taken out of the KJV Bible, out of the middle, but it's in the original 1611 KJV Bible. All right, we're going into the book called Sirach, also called Ecclesiasticus 1, verse 6.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 6, out of the Apocrypha. To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed, or who hath known her wise counsels? Unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who hath understood her great experience?
All right, so to whom has the root of wisdom been revealed? All right, and or who has known her wise counsels? All right, so who knows the root of wisdom? Who's wisdom? All right, the personification of wisdom. That wisdom is feminine in nature. All right, who knows her? Because if you're tied to her, the actual individual, the personification of wisdom, then you're going to know more wisdom than the average individual. That's why it's saying, to whom has the root of wisdom been revealed? Who knows the root? Who knows her wise counsels? Who has the knowledge of wisdom made manifest? And who knows her great experience? Who knows about her in the Godhead and her experience, her being the Holy Spirit? All right. We know in Christianity they call it a he. All right, which that's inaccurate. All right, goes back. Mainstream Christianity, correct. All right, as in true Christianity knows that the Holy Spirit is wisdom. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. What's missing out the equation? All right, we're going to go to Matthew 24 and 37. All right, 24 and 36. Right above right there. So, yeah. Remember,
It's the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
All right. So, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So this is Christ speaking, saying, but as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So he's telling us to look at the days of Noah. And he says, for in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking. So we were going through who was eating and drinking before the flood, because mankind has always been eating and drinking. Mankind was always been marrying and giving into marriage until the day that Noah entered in the ark. All right. So who was doing these things? And we see that it was the fallen angels. It was the giants. It was the people that were with them that was doing these things before the flood came and took them away. And they did not know. All right, until that time came. And he tells us specifically, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So the same way it's going to come, the same way the Son of Man's going to be. So once again, I'm not saying it. He's saying it. All right, we're going to go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 9.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had already been of old time, which was before us.
All right, so that thing that has been is that which shall be done. So it's telling you here, the thing that has already been is the thing that's going to happen. All right, that shall be. All right, and that which is done, so that which was done is that which shall be done. There's no new thing under the sun. And we understand that the old covenant, after Christ, when Christ died and resurrected, that it started the new covenant, and that the old covenant was being replayed now in a spiritual aspect in the new covenant. And now we have Israel again, but now a spiritual Israel that includes all people. Whereas the Old Testament, it was a bloodline. In the new covenant, it's those of faith. All right, those who are of the bloodline got rejected. All right, and that opened up the gate for those of the faith to all be accepted under the realm of being Gentiles. All right, and us coming and believing through faith. All right, and now we're dealing with Israel, the spiritual Israel, and their timeline in the New Testament. All right, as opposed to the Old Testament and dealing with what Israel went through leading up to Christ. So now we're dealing again with Israel's timeline. And Israel is waiting now for the redemption of Christ to come, the same way it was in the old covenant. All right, when Israel had their time and Christ came, right, that was the Israel of the flesh. All right, Christ died, right, because he came to the earth, right? He died, he resurrected, he's gone back. Why? Because now we have spiritual Israel that's growing up, and now he's going to come back. And this time when he comes back, it's not to die, it's in his what? In his glory. It's coming to actually save the true Israel, the spiritual Israel. All right, so once again, we're seeing what? That there's no new thing under the sun. That thing that has been is that which shall be done. So the same way Christ came to that Israel in the old covenant, the same way Christ is coming to Israel of the spirit. All right, those of faith. All right, and the same way the days of Noah was, is the same way what the times of Christ coming is going to be. And this is Christ letting us know that.
Back then when he was dealing with the 12 tribes of Israel, it was to show more of a, it was the carnal side of it, where he's actually dealing with the people, and now it's like more spiritual. It doesn't matter if you're actually from the bloodline or not. It matters if you believe.
Correct. So we had the 12 tribes of Israel, right? We had Israel and the 12 tribes. Now in the new covenant, we have Christ and the 12 disciples. The 12 disciples baptized. We know baptized is giving birth. So they're giving birth to new nations through baptism. Opposed to in the Old Testament, you had Israel and the 12 tribes and them doing birth physically to create the nations. All right. Correct. They had broke the contract. All right. So we're just going to start Genesis 6 and 4. We're going to go back to Genesis 6 and 4. We're at page 2. All right. We're at page 2. And then we're going to go down. So we're just recapping. All right. Because we're at part 3. We just want to recap. We're at Genesis 6 and 4.
All right. It's the book of Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made the man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them.
All right. So Genesis 6 and 4, there were giants in the earth in those days and also after. So what is it saying? That in the times of the flood there were giants, and also after the flood there were giants. When the sons of God came into the daughters of men. So analyzing that, why does it say sons of God and daughters of men? All right. The sons of God came into the daughters of men because these sons of God were angels that came into the daughters of men, and they bare them children. All right. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So these men became renowned individuals, mighty men who were renowned. And the wickedness was great on the earth, and everyone was doing wickedness continually. All right. And the Most High had placed it in his heart, right, that he's now going to bring a flood on the earth to destroy what's going on. All right. And the artifacts that you see there is the remnants of what they built, symbolizing these giants. And just looking at the artifacts, you see how small the people are in compared to the actual giant figure. And a lot of people just like, oh, it's just art. But we're going through the scriptures to show that this wasn't art. This stuff actually transpired and happened. All right, so we're just going to go to Genesis 6 and 4 in the Aramaic, and then we'll continue where we left off. All right, so we're at page 3.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 4, out of the Aramaic. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also after that. For the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. And they became giants who in the olden days were mighty men of renown.
All right, so once again, sorry, that's the wrong Aramaic, but yes, once again, showing you that these sons of God came into the daughters of men, all right, in the olden days, and they were mighty men of renown. So these were mighty men. So showing again, hounding down that these are mighty men of renown. Why are they saying mighty men of renown? Because they were strong and mighty and had stardom and fame because of their might. Hercules, Zeus, all of these things was coming from it. The demigods, them having power and might. And these are the stories that we get in the myths and these Greek mythologies and Roman gods and things of that nature.
So even these movies that they put out is more or less they're actually secretly paying homage to these beings, and people are watching them as entertainment, not realizing that the people who actually make this stuff knows where this stuff comes from.
Correct. And just like last week where we had left off, where we went into Enoch going and showing, hey, the angels were kept, the 7 angels that were kept, and they look like mountainous burning fire, and that these now are the same 7 planets that they're saying that we see now. All right, and they're wandering stars, where we know that the stars before, they're all fixed in the firmament. These stars now are moving, wandering. All right, and now they have people, what, in the Roman mythology, all of that, they're worshiping the planets, the stars, right? So it's going back to the same thing again. All right, so we're actually just going to, we're at page 5, and we're going to go to that in Aramaic. We're at page 5, and we're at Genesis 6 and 4. We're going to finish off there and then start back. So we're at page 5. Next page, no. Yeah, page 5. Let's get on to page 5, all right.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 4. This is Targum Aramaic. And it was when the sons of men began to multiply upon the face of the earth, and fair daughters were born to them. And the sons of the great saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and painted and curled, walking with revelation of the flesh, and with imaginations of wickedness, that they took them wives of all who pleased them. And the Lord said by his word, all the generations of the wicked which are to arise shall not be purged after the order of the judgments of the generation of the deluge, which shall be destroyed and exterminated from the midst of the world. Have I not imparted my Holy Spirit to them, or placed my Holy Spirit in them, that they may work good works? And behold, Their works are wicked. Behold, I will give them a prolongment of 120 years, that they may work repentance and not perish. Skemjazai and Uziel, who fell from heaven, were on the earth in those days, and also after the sons of the great had gone in with the daughters of men. They bare to them, and these are they who are called men who are of the world, men of names.
All right, so we're seeing in this Genesis 6 and 4, all right, says that the sons of men, all right, began to multiply upon the face of the earth. All right, and fair daughters were born to them, and the sons of the great. So here it separates the sons of men from the sons of the great. All right, so the sons of the great, which are the angels, they saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, painted, and curled. So we went into that beautiful, they painted, so they are now in the colors, and they now curled. Curled meaning, hey, that curl is meaning that they have body now. All right, they have figure. All right, so they were looking beautiful now. They had painted and they were curled. All right, so their bodies had figure. They had nice figure. And they were walking with revelation of the flesh. So they were showing their body. They were showing their flesh. They were walking with revelation of the flesh. And now with imaginations of wickedness, that they took themselves wives who are they please. And we went into that. They came onto the woman as men, beautiful men, and the woman chose to sleep with these angels and commit adultery. And we liken that to what happens with what? When happens now in the world, when a woman or a married person may see a star one-on-one. So you seen the star that was on TV, all right? You seen the Hollywood star, movie star, right? Music star, that these women might what? They might commit the same thing, adultery, because of the star influence, star power. That's the same renownedness that we're talking about. The star power that, hey, even though I'm committed with somebody, because you're so beautiful, because you're a star, I have to make this. This is the one night that I have to do this. And no one will know.
And sometimes they're ugly.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do sometimes with the looks. It's
Yeah.
just about
the star power. Correct.
Notoriety.
The notoriety. This is different. The star power that you feel. Men of renown. So this is why now, why do they call them stars? We have Hollywood, the Walk of Fame, the stars, right? When you're in the walk, the what is it? It's in the Walk of Fame.
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, right. And they put the star down for you. You're a star. All of this is in remnants of what? The mighty men of renown. They were mighty and renowned. Their fame went out. All right. So with that fame and with that beauty, all right, the angels were able to sway the woman into committing adultery, which is why they were penalized.
Which is even going into the movie that were like that movie City of Angels with
Yes.
where he falls and yeah.
All right. And the Most High now gave 120 years that they could repent. So 120 years Noah was preaching the gospel, all right, before the things happened, all right? So once again, the revelation means unveil, uncover, lay bare. So we see that in carnival, all right? And we have the figure of the carnival, the revelation of the flesh, the colors, all of these things that was happening. All right? Actually, just give us the second book of Adam and Eve as well. So we'll start again.
It's the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 20. Ravishing music.
No, you can start at the 29.
29,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Verse 20, verse 29. Enoch at that time was already grown up, and in his zeal for God, he arose and said, Hear me, O ye sons of Seth, small and great. When ye transgress the commandment of our fathers, and go down from this holy mountain, ye shall not come up hither again forever. But they rose up against Enoch, and would not hearken to his words, but went down from the holy mountain. And when they looked at the daughters of Cain, at their beautiful figures, and at their hands and feet dyed with color, and tattooed in ornaments on their faces, the fire of the sin was kindled in them. Then Satan made them look most beautiful before the sons of Seth, as he also made the sons of Seth appear of the fairest in the eyes of the daughters of Cain, so that the daughters of Cain lusted after the sons of Seth, like ravenous beasts. and the sons of Seth after the daughters of Cain until they committed abomination with them.
All right, so here seeing this is what was happening that now made the angels fall. So Satan, all right, so Satan, what he's doing separately from these angels, because these angels were watching over mankind for their benefit, Satan is now trying to entice the sons of Seth by convincing and showing the daughters of Cain how to now reveal their bodies, show their figures, dye their feet with dyed color, tattoo their faces with ornaments, all right? Have the fire of sin kindled in them, all right? Satan was making them look most beautiful before the sons of Seth so that they could what? Want them like ravenous beasts, it said. All right, they want each other till they commit abomination with them. And from this thing happening, this is where the angels now witnessing this came to the daughters of men and now committed the acts that we see. But it all stems from what? Right, the revelation of the flesh, which is also a reason why what? That the Most High had put out a law that women were to cover up after. All right, because of the understanding, the power of all of the what transpired, the flood and everything. This is why it's called fallen angels and giants, the revelation of the flesh. Because what I'm honing on as well is that the whole thing came from one problem. It was the revelation of flesh that was shown that enticed the angels and started to make these acts happen.
I mean, now that you see all like Diddy's getting exposed, he's having these freak off parties and all that stuff as well. Like, it's kind of showing that the time is close where these things that were done in secret are getting exposed, and God's showing you, look, this is going on. Kids are, involved in this now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so that's where we, all right, just beginning in showing us the key thing of why we're going into the revelation of the flesh, the fallen angels. All right, the angels sleeping with the daughters of men and things transpiring. All right, so we're now at page, we are at page, yes, 33. Yes, we are at page 33. All right, we're at Numbers 13. Yeah, no, next one. Yeah, right there.
All right. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 31. It's from the Aramaic Targum. And Caleb stilled the people and made them listen to Moshe and said, let us go up and possess it, for we are able to take it. And he stilled. But the men who had gone up with him said, we are not able to go up to the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought out an evil report about the land which they had surveyed to the sons of Israel, saying, the country through which we have passed to explore it is a land that killeth its inhabitants with diseases, and all the people who are in it are giants, masters of evil ways. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, of the race of the giants, and we appear to ourselves to be as locusts, and so we appear to them.
All right. So here Caleb stilled the people. All right. Made them listen to Moses. All right. And they're saying, hey, let's go up. Let's possess the land. Let's possess the promised land. All right. But they said, we're not able to go up to the people, for they are stronger than us. All right. And they said the country through that they passed to explore it is a land that kills its inhabitants. So the same thing that we're seeing again happening after the flood. So this is after the flood. All right. The children of Israel now go into that land. All right. Seeing that, hey, guess what? The same acts that they were doing before the flood, they're doing it again, killing the inhabitants of the land where they are at. They've never seen this outside of that country. So where they're at, they're doing it where they're resting at. All right. And they're saying, guess what? All right. All the people who are in it are giants, masters of evil ways. All right. And it's showing you they're also killing the people with diseases. So these giants, they know what? technological advances, all right, to kill people with diseases as well. And it says, there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, of the race of giants. All right. And they appeared to be themselves as locusts. So they appeared. So they were like locusts in front of them. They were like grasshoppers in comparison to them. So they said in comparison to the giants that they seen, all right, they were like grasshoppers. So you seen a grasshopper before? All right, that's what it's saying. All right, and here we have a picture in Egypt, once again, on the wall, and you see another giant figure, and you see man below, very small. And this is what the scriptures are constantly displaying to us to show us that these things are actual truths. All right, these things are truths that transpired prior. All right, so these things are truths that has happened. All right, we're at page 33. All right, so the giants, once again, it says that they were like locusts in comparison to the giants. And even that image that we're seeing there, that's bigger than a locust. That's about what maybe a chihuahua size look like. All right, so that's even bigger. That's even, lesser in size than what they were describing in the scriptures. All right, we're at Numbers 13:33 in the actual Bible. So we went to the KJV and we went to the Aramaic before. We're now in the KJV, Numbers 13:33.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 33. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
All right, so once again, locusts, grasshoppers. The KJV difference, it says grasshoppers. All right, grasshoppers and locusts of the same class. All right, so they're saying they're as big as grasshoppers in the sight of these giants. And if you ever seen a grasshopper on just pop by you, that's pretty small in comparison.
Well, they also have too a lot of stuff that if you look up, a lot of the mountains. When they said that the flood came, they died and they petrified the bodies. And the bodies, if you look at some of these mountains from a top view, it looks like a woman lying down like this, like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, so we're going to continue. We're at Deuteronomy 1:28.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 28. Whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our heart, saying, the people is greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven. And moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakims there.
All right, so another description again in Deuteronomy explaining the same thing of what they're seeing, the sons of Anak, all right, the sons of Anakim, all right, and that once again, why were they afraid to go in the land? Because the people are greater and taller. So giving us another example, all right, that they're stressing that these are big individuals. They're greater and taller than us, all right, and going back again that they're from the sons of Anak, all right, and we hear a lot of, the Anunnaki, right? The sons of Anak. Anunnaki is just these giant, we call bloodline that's coming from the angels, but the angels aren't Anunnaki, all right? The sons of Anak are, right, sons that come from the giant Anak that was after the flood. All right, and here in the picture, that's a picture that from the native Indians. So that's depicted from native Indian artifacts, right, where they were taking down giants they said even in North America, So this is a depiction of the native Indians and them as a tribal village having to take down a giant.
And there's accounts too of also chiefs explaining that the reason they used to use smoke was because of the giants could have such good smell and sense of stuff when hunting them down. They would have to make smoke signals and smoke them out to mask their scent.
Oh, wow. I can just imagine.
And you can see in the background of the picture, there's a fire there, right?
All right, so we're going to go to the book of Jasher, once again, referenced in Samuel in the Bible twice. We're going to go to the book of Jasher. We're at chapter 85 and 22, and we're going to analyze another scenario with the giants.
So, book of Jasher, chapter 85, verse 22. And Og, king of Bashan, was a very powerful man. But Naron, his son, was exceedingly powerful, even stronger than he was. And Og said in his heart, Behold, now the whole camp of Israel takes up a space of 3 parsa. Now will I smite them at once without sword or spear. And Og went up Mount Jahaz, and took therefrom 1 large stone, the length of which was 3 parsa. And he placed it on his head, and resolved to throw it upon the camp of the children of Israel, to smite all the Israelites with that stone. And the angel of the Most High came and pierced the stone upon the head of Og. And the stone fell upon the neck of Og, that Og fell to the earth on account of the weight of the stone upon his neck. At that time the Most High said to the children of Israel, Be not afraid of him, for I have given him and all his people and all his land into your hand, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon. And Moses went down to him with a small number of the children of Israel. And Moses smote Og with a stick at the ankles of his feet, and slew him. And the children of Israel afterward pursued the children of Og and all his people, and they beat and destroyed them till there was no more remnant of them left.
All right, so Og of King Bashan, even spoken about in the Bible, Og was a very powerful man. So once again, going back into what the men of what renown, mighty men. All right, very powerful man. All right, that's why we get Goliath from all of that. These are very powerful men.
Yeah, because some of even the stones and the things that are some places like the walls and stuff, like only a couple of giants could lift that stuff. They didn't have.
Yeah, they didn't have the. We still don't have today to lift those.
No.
Correct.
They were that big.
Even just a context, Goliath was considered a little giant.
Yeah, he's a small giant. Yeah, he's a.
He wasn't like
Only
our
9
size.
foot, 9 foot, something.
Yeah, he wasn't a. Yeah, they start to go down in smaller in size as they start to mix in with each other as the bloodline gets weaker. All right, so we have Og here, very powerful man. All right. Narun, his son, was exceedingly powerful, even stronger than he was. So he had a son, Narun, he's even powerful. All right. And Og is now saying in his heart, he's going to destroy the whole camp of Israel, the whole nation of Israel, them camped about. All right. And takes up a space of 3 parsa. And we're going to get into exactly what 3 parsa is. All right. So it takes up a space of 3 parsas. And he's taking up a large stone, and he's able to, once again, take out the whole camp of Israel with a stone, showing you how big these giants were. And where we're getting into who made certain things and who made this and who made that, right? We're going to know that, hey, the giants was being used, all right? Especially when Enoch had power over them, all right? And to build certain things, all right? We see even Solomon in the temple had power over the demons to help with the construction of the temple, all right? To do things that man is not enabled to do.
And that's a good thing for people to know, where demons are, supposed to be afraid of demons, showing that Solomon, he had a lot of wisdom. If you stay close to wisdom and increase your wisdom, demons is not something you're supposed to be afraid of.
Correct. All right. So we're seeing now, all right, Og is taking up a whole rock that could take out the whole camp, a whole community, basically. All right. And he went up to Mount Jahaz, where he could basically oversee them to take that large stone. So he took a large stone from over there, which was 3 parsas, and he's going to now destroy the Israelites. All right. The angel of the Most High comes, pierces the rock, and the stone falls on the head of Og. All right. And upon the neck of Og. All right. And fell onto the earth. All right. And the Most High is showing them not to be afraid. So the Most High is showing them the glory. Don't be afraid of anything. Always follow what I say. Always do what I say, because I have power to what? To overthrow. So the Most High in these instances, he's showing his glory. Why is he doing this? It's to show his glory. He made it that way, so he could show the glory and for us to have faith and trust in him. So he says, be not afraid of him, for I've given him and all his people and all his land into your hand, and you shall do to them as you did to Sihon. All right, so he's saying you're going to do just like what you did to them. All right, and he's showing them that, hey, I'm giving you them. And that same thing is being replayed now when you see the native Indians depicting their images, all right, and their artifacts that show them taking down the giants. So the Most High is showing you that when you're with the Most High, you're able, as a community, to take down these giants. And that's what we've seen depicted by the native Indians in their times. And that's how they're still able to be here. All right, so we're going to go into what is 3 parsas.
Parsa, plural parsas, a Hebrew measure of itinerant distance. 1 parsa is about 5 kilometers. Oh no, it's not my part. 1 parsa is about 4 kilometers, approximately the distance a man can walk in 72 minutes.
All right, so 1 parsa is 4 kilometers. So we're talking about at least 12 kilometers of space. All right, we're talking about at least what? 3.5 hours of walking distance. All right, 216 minutes of walking distance in an attempt to kill the children of Israel. So it's showing us that the giants were very big, large, that they could take out these things. All right, and so again, we're looking at the Colossi of Memnon, and that's in Egypt. And these are small, and these even still are small giants in contrast to what was being depicted of us in King Og and Bashan and some of them. All right, these are still great giants, but those ones are even bigger. All right, so we're going to go to what is the book of Dizan. All right, so we're going to go to out the Bible, because we're like, oh, the Bible says it, the Bible, let's not believe it. Okay, so we could go to something else that has nothing to do with the Bible and see what they say of these things that transpired. All right, so we're going into a book called the Book of Dizan. All right.
What is the book of Zian? Zian, yeah.
Is that?
Zian.
Zian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zian. D is silent.
The book of Zian, comprising the stanzas of Zian, is reputedly ancient text of Tibetan origin. What is Tibet? Tibet, pronounced Zizang, is a region of the Tibetan Plateau in Asia, northeast of the Himalayas. It is the traditional homeland of the Tibetan people, as well as some other ethnic groups such as the Monpa, Kiang, Loba, and Lobas peoples, and is now also inhabited by considerable numbers of Han, Chinese, and Hui people. Tibet is the highest region on Earth, with an average elevation of 4,900 meters, or 16,000 feet.
All right, so the Book of Dizan, all right, is reputed an ancient text of Tibetan origin. So this ain't coming from the Hebrews. This is coming from a total different source. The people from Tibet, where are they from? They're in Asia. They're in the Himalayas. All right, they're in the regions over there. This is their records. This is their book. This is what we're about to read. All right, let's get into the ancient Tibetan book, the Book of Zian.
All right, it's the book of Zian, excerpt 41. They took wise fair to look upon, wise from the mindless, the narrow-headed. They bred monsters, wicked demons, male and female, also cattle with little minds. They built temples for the human body, male and female they worship. Then the third eye acted no longer. They built huge cities of rare earths and metals they built, out of the fires vomited out of the white stone of the mountains, and of the black stone. They cut their own images in their size and likeness, and worshipped them. They built great images, 9 yatis, which is 36 feet high, the size of their bodies. Inner fires had destroyed the land of their fathers. The water threatened the fourth. The first great waters came. They swallowed the 7 great islands. All holy saved, the unholy destroyed. With them most of the huge animal.
All right, so it's showing once again in this ancient Tibetan book, it's wrapping up what we've been saying. All right, so once again, we also showed that, right, prior that the giants and the angels and what was transpiring, that they started to splice animals and they created the dinosaurs and all of this. All right, and now we're seeing here again in the book of Zion, all right, showing us that they took wives, fair to look upon, wives from the mindless, narrow-headed. All right, they bred monsters, all right, wicked demons. So they're saying, hey, these people that came, these children that came from the union of the angels and the women, all right, these were monsters. They were wicked demons, male and female of them. All right, and they had little minds. Their mind was small, meaning their minds wasn't operated, all right, in terms of how we look at things. And they built temples for the human body. So they're building temples for people to now go, where male and female they worship. All right, the third eye acted no longer. They built huge cities. So it's showing you that these giants was what? They were building stuff. They're even giving us a little more detail than the Bible is telling us. They were building these cities. So it told us, oh, they had cities and the cities were walled. But now we see what the problem was. Children of Israel are saying, hey, they built these walled cities. How can you stop them from going to the cities when they're so big and the walls are big and the rocks and this? They were building these cities. They built the huge cities of rare earths and metals, the same metals that what? We showed that what? The angels showed what? The woman. They.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, think about how, like, if a man have a shovel or even an excavator and how they could dig deep. Imagine how deep a giant can
Yeah,
dig.
once again, yeah. So that's why it's saying they're going to rare earths and metals that man can't even get to. They went and got that, building up the cities. All right, out of fires vomited. So they're going into. I'm guessing they're going into lava and all of that.
All the way to
Yeah. Able to go into the volcano. So out of the fires vomited. The vomited fire. That's volcano.
You know, it's funny too. If you look at the Lords of the Rings, the ones that dig and all that stuff are the dwarves, the shorter ones. They're extremely strong, but you can see where they're kind of making fun of the whole thing, where they actually know these stories, these I don't even call them stories, these records, where they had that mythology dwarf person digging into the lava and all that stuff, but they're actually giants. The opposite, the complete opposite of who they were, right?
Oh, yes. Once again, so volcanoes, out of the fires vomited, out of white stone of mountains. So they're showing you out of the white stone of mountains. What are we seeing here? We're seeing the Colossi of Menon in Egypt. These is what they're describing to us. They're making, who made these? Is this art? Is this people making this? No, it's telling you they love themselves so much that this is what do people do. People take pictures of themselves. Back then, there's no picture of yourself. It's a stone of yourself. It's an image that lasts forever, right? Better than a picture, right? They're like, this is going to last. This is going to be here. You're going to see it everywhere. Right? We just seen that when people retire, we just seen Dwayne Wade's retirement statue. Statue shows, hey, yeah, you're showing that you're to be what? Remembered. That's what the giants were doing.
Basically, say they're immortalizing.
Yeah, they're immortalizing themselves. So again, another thing that happens with what? Stars and people. When they do something, what do? They build a statue, a representation of that individual. So all of this is coming from what? Angels, the fallen angels, the giants, what transpired.
Going in, they also say they're enshrining them too as well.
Enshrining them.
Yeah, which kind of goes into.
Oh, yeah, the worshiping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because anytime they have a statue, it's always on a pedestal.
Yes, on a pedestal. Yeah, it's never, yeah.
Individual.
So yeah, they're putting them on a pedestal. So that's all worship.
Whatever it is.
All right, and that's different. So in the Bible, we made memorials, but those were memorials of they were just
Altars.
no, what's that word called? They were like, what do they call that thing? Is an altar? I guess you could call it an altar. Yeah, the altar, but it's triangular. They make it like a pyramid, where it's not an image of anybody. It's just a remembrance. Oh, a pillar. It's basically a pillar. Yeah, they set up a pillar. All right, so it's just a pillar of a remembrance, and it will have words of the person to remember them. But it's not an image of the person immortalizing them and on a pedestal like that. It's just a pillar set up of remembrance, and it has words on it that you can remember, hey, what's going on, the person's name, this and that. That's how you get remembered. Not when you set up an image of yourself now that's the worship part now.
That's kind of like a tombstone right now.
Yeah.
It's on the ground or whatever.
All right, so it says they, out of white stones of mountains and of black stone, they cut their own images in their size and likeness. So when we're seeing these images I'm depicting, these records are telling you they did this. This is what they look like. They cut the stones in their sizes. Man didn't do that. Didn't have nothing to do that. All right, once again, showing you even 36 feet in size for their bodies. All right, and showing you that the waters came and swallowed them up. It shows that all holy saved. Who was the holy? Noah and his sons. All right, all unholy destroyed with most of the huge animals. So even in here, it's showing you not all of them died. Not all the giants died. Not all the animals died. Right, most of the huge animals. Most of the dinosaurs. All right, so this book of Xi'an out of ancient Tibet, all right, is also telling us what the book of Enoch is telling us, what the Bible is telling us, what Jasher is telling us. All right, so we're going to continue. What is the Colossi of Memnon?
What is the Colossi of Memnon? World History Encyclopedia. The Colossi of Memnon, also known as El Khalsat or El Salamat, are two monumental statues representing Amenhotep III in 1386 to 1353 BCE of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. They are located west of the modern city of Luxor and face east, looking toward the Nile River. The statues depict the seated king on a throne ornamented with imagery of his mother, his wife, the god Hapi, and the other symbolic engravings. The figures rise 60 feet or 18 meters high and weigh 720 tons each, both carved from single blocks of sandstone. They were constructed as guardians for Amenhotep's third mortuary complex, which once stood behind them. Earthquakes, floods, and the ancient practice of using older monuments and buildings as resource material for new structures all contributed to the disappearance of the enormous complex. Little of it remains today except the two colossal statues once stood at its gates.
All right, so it's showing you the Colossi of Memnon, also known, all right, or we say that were two monumental statues representing Imhotep III. All right, so they're representing Imhotep III of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. So they're representing the leaders. And we went into the scriptures that were showing us the leaders of these people were what? The giants became their leaders out of fear. The mankind was afraid of them. They became their leaders. So these leaders back then were giants. And now it's showing you, hey, this is a statue of the leader. The leader made an image of himself. All right, and this was what was in the city at the gates. All right, and this is another evidence of the things that they were making in reflection of themselves. All right, the statue and the images. All right, so once again, just looking at the statue showing you that these same things they made in their likeness. It's not man making it to like them. Yes.
I have a question. So, like, when countries and like tribes would go to war, was it like giants leading like wars?
When countries and
Like when they would go to war, like different countries would go to war. Was it like giants that would lead the war
you talking about now or back then in the Bible times?
back then?
So even in the Bible it tells us before that there's an angel that's over all the nations. The Most High was over the nation of Israel. So they're being influenced by these people. They're always influenced and they're always around with them. The Most High has never left mankind, just left them. He's always been watching over them. We even seen he sent the watchers, and what we're seeing what happened with the watchers. So these angels were always set over the nations, and yes, that's what transpires. All right, and then we seen what happened with the flood. We've seen the clash of the Titans. All right, so the fight of the Titans, and now we're gonna show now coming back that same thing. What you're saying is leading back. So you're paying attention. So the same thing is gonna happen again because they led them into war then. They're gonna be leading them into war now. All right, and hopefully we get there by the end of this lesson. All right, so we're at Josephus. We're at the works of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews.
So this is a book.
All right. So once again, Flavius Josephus, all right, a historian, a Jew who was around at the Roman times, and he was writing the history books. So the Romans made him write the history books for the Jews at that time to keep their history, and they allowed him to do that. And this is another account separate from the Bible that showed that these accounts are real, because now this is a historic book with a historian that is writing about the times of the Jews that he's witnessed and heard himself. All right. And the stories he's heard himself and the stuff that he was seeing at that time, being a part of Rome and him being of the Jews himself. All right. So we're at the works of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book 5, chapter 2. All right. Verse 3.
This is the works of Flavius Josephus, book 2. Chapter 3, book 2,
You
chapter,
can
yeah.
read that.
All right, I'll read that. How after the death of Joshua, their commander, the Israelites transgressed the laws of their country and experienced great afflictions. And when there was a sedition arisen, the tribe of Benjamin was destroyed, excepting only 600 men. All right. Verse 3. For which reason they removed their camp to Hebron. And when they had taken it, they slew all the inhabitants. They were till then left a race of giants who had bodies so large and countenances so entirely different from other men that they were surprising to the sight and terrible to the hearing. The bones of these men are still shown to this very day, unlike any credible relations of other men.
All right. So here in Josephus is showing us that, once again, speaking about the race of giants, that their bodies being so large, their countenances being entirely different from other men. All right. That they were surprising to the sight. All right. Terrible to the hearing. All right. And that at that time when he was writing these accounts, they were still being shown. The bodies were still being shown to people. All right. And once again, since that time, the giants have been digressing, but they still were giants in certain times. So now we're going to a real life thing. We have Queen Elizabeth II. All right. She just passed. Right. She's there and she's looking at the skeleton of Charles, what's that, Byron, during a visit of the Hunterian Museum in 1962. So she's have an image here. This is a real person in today's time. You see how big she is? She's looking at this individual's bones. All right, Charles's bones. And we're going to go into who is Charles and why are they looking at his bones. And once again, the same things transpire. We're just going to show that, hey, this is the same thing that they do. When they find these bones or when people are like this, they get put on display for you to see. And that's the same thing Josephus was saying. All right, that the very bones of these men were shown to this very day. So we're going to go into the story of Charles. All right, and this is out the Smithsonian Magazine.
While London Museum is removing the skeleton of an Irish giant from view. Senior Associate Digital Editor, History. This is from January 17, 2023. When Charles Byrne, a 7'7" man, popularly as the Irish Giant, was on the deathbed in June 1783, he made a final request of his friends that his body be buried at the sea to stop surgeons from dissecting his remains. Byrne's fear was well founded, as one contemporary newspaper reported shortly after his death at age 22. The whole tribe of surgeons put in a claim for the poor departed Irish giant and surrounded his house just as Greenland harpooners would an enormous whale.
All right, so once again, we're just seeing here. So there's a seven man, right? They're saying he's about maybe 8 feet. They're saying he's a giant. So not only is he tall like that, because nowadays you can see people tall like that, but his body and how he was and his proportion, he was giant. All right. And he's saying, hey, at his request, he knows that these people, when I die, they want to dissect me. All these people want to study my body, what's going on with me. So he's trying to put in a request to have his body buried at sea to stop surgeons from dissecting his remains. All right. And it shows you that shortly after his death, All right. The whole tribe of surgeons put in a claim for the poor departed Irish man. All right. And surrounds his house. All right. Like a harpooner's like an enormous whale. So they're trying, oh, he died now. Everyone's ready to put in a claim now over the man's body. All right. To try to dissect it for what? Scientific research. All right. Continue for us.
Though the young man's companions tried to fulfill his wishes, an anatomist named John Hunter thwarted these plans, reportedly paying someone 500 pounds to open Burns' coffin and replace his remains with a heavy weight. A few years later, Hunter displayed Burns' skeleton at his London home turned museum as part of an exhibit on the normal and abnormal growth of human bones. For the next 200 years, the skeleton remained on view to the public, serving as a main attraction at the Royal College of Surgeons' Hunterian Museum, which houses Hunter's extensive collection of anatomical specimens. When the museum reopened in March after a 5-year closure, however, Burns' bones will be conspicuously absent. Per statement, museum trustees used the closure to discuss the sensitivities and the differing views surrounding the display and retention of Charles Burns' skeleton. Ultimately, the board decided to remove the bones from view, but retain them for bona fide research into acromegaly, a disorder in which the body produces too much growth hormone, and gigantism, a similar condition that begins in childhood.
All right. And once again, just going back to that we know that these things happen. And we went back into the other lesson to show that even in this day, when you produce a giant, a lion and a tiger, the same growth hormone thing is activated and they're growing beyond what they're supposed to. So they're showing you that this individual had this growth hormone that, once again, where is this bloodline coming from? The giants, that they had this growth hormone, a gigantic growth hormone that makes them get bigger. That's what the dinosaurs had. That's what the giants had. That's what this man had. All right, so he has a condition, too much growth hormone, giantism. And this is what transpired with the giants, what transpired with the dinosaurs that created bigger things than what we actually are. All right, so that's what he was suffering from. So continue for us.
The museum's announcement follows a year-long campaign by scholars, authors, and journalists to fulfill Burns' dying request, or at minimum, petition the Hunterian to move his bones into storage. It also arrives at a time when cultural institutions around the world are reckoning with the ethics of exhibiting human remains to the public. Everything that has happened to this point went against Burns' explicit wishes, says Len Doyal, a medical ethicist who co-wrote a 2011 article on the skeleton's contentious history, to The Guardian's Alexandra Topping. There was no question that Burns did not want this to happen, and it did.
All right, so Charles Burns' body, all right, eventually is getting looked at for bona fide research, all of these things happening that he didn't want to happen. Why is it happen? Because he had a gigantic growth hormone that was causing him to grow. All right, it says it's called giantism. All right. So we're going to go now to the works of Flavius Josephus again and get another account. So we're just getting a little more account of the giants, all right, before we go into how the giants are coming back. All right, so just getting a little more account of what they actually looked like. What did the giants look like? All right, their power, their body, how big it was. All right, we're getting more and more details from people about that. All right, and it all going back to what? Why? Because Christ said, in the coming of him, so shall it be in the days of Noah. All right. As in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of Christ. So continue for us.
All right, this is the works of Flavius Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, Book 7, Chapter 12. How the Hebrews were delivered from a famine when the Gibeonites had caused punishment to be inflicted for those of them that had been slain, as also what great actions were performed against the Philistines by David and the men of valor about him. When the king heard that the Philistines were gathered together at the city of Gazara, he sent an army against them. When Sibbecai the Hittite, one of David's most courageous men, behaved himself so as to deserve great commendation, For he slew many of those that bragged they were the posterity of giants, and vaunted themselves highly on that account, and thereby was the occasion of victory to the Hebrews. After which defeat, the Philistines made war again, and when David had sent an army against them, Nephan his kinsman fought in a single combat with the stoutest of the Philistines, and slew him, and put the rest to flight. Many of them were also slain in the fight. Now a little while after this, the Philistines pitched their camp at the city which lay not far off the bounds of the country of the Hebrews. They had a man who was 6 cubits tall, and had on each of his feet and hands one more toe and finger than men naturally have. Now the person who was sent against them by David out of his army was Jonathan, the son of Shimea, who fought this man in a single combat and slew him. And as he was the person who gave the turn to the battle, he gained the greatest reputation for courage therein. This man also vaunted himself to be the son of the giants. But after this fight, the Philistines made war no more against the Israelites.
All right, so here we're seeing, all right, that the Philistines, they're gathering, they're sending out an army, all right. There's a Hittite, one of David's most courageous men, all right. So David has warriors, knights, you could call it, all right, behaved himself, all right, to deserve great commendation, all right. Why? Because he slew many of those of the posterity that bragged they were giants. So he was a giant slayer, all right. So the Most High gave power to certain men that they can slay the giants, and they were known for, yo, there's a giant in your city, come on, we can slay that. All right, the same kind of now where farms and certain things call people to take out pests and certain things. So they'll call in them to shoot, hey, come and shoot out the baboons, come shoot out the wolves that's in there attacking our stuff.
Yeah, that movie called Jack the Giant Slayer.
Okay, yeah. So this man was a giant slayer. All right, Sibbecai, all right, the Hittite was a giant slayer. All right, now one of the giants that was coming up to fight, all right, these giants, they're showing you that these men, they had men who had they were 6 cubits tall and had on each of his feet and hands one more toe and finger than men naturally have. So they had 6 fingers and 6 toes. All right. So not only with their size they were big, but these specific ones had an extra toe and an extra finger naturally that were strong in comparison to us who have 5. All right, so just showing more. All right, we're at 2 Samuel 21 and 20.
It's the book of 2 Samuel.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, well, cubics are the key measurement. So a cubic's approximately 18 inches. So if you do the 18 times, how many was it? I think like 6 or something.
It was 6 cubits. Yeah, 6 cubits. 6 cubits. So.
8. Divide that by 12. So he was 9 feet tall.
Yeah, I've seen that family. There's actually a family in Brazil that all of them have working. There's extra fingers. Everybody in that family.
All right, so we're gonna go. No, huh?
And on their feet too. They have they all have working 6 fingers and toes.
All right, so we're gonna go back in the Bible. We're gonna go to 2 Samuel 21 and 20, and we're gonna corroborate what Josephus is telling us again.
All right, it's the book of 2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 20. And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number. And he also was born to the giant. And when they defiled Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimea, the brother of David, slew him.
All right, so once again, showing you that there was yet a battle in Gath, and there was men of great stature that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes. All right, and they were born to giants. So just showing us again that these giants had 6 toes, 6 fingers. They're big, they're huge. All right, so we have a picture here. This is a picture of what they depict as Bigfoot. This is an actual image of Bigfoot. Everyone's heard of the thing of Bigfoot. Oh, Bigfoot, look at his feet. All right, that's the Bigfoot image that the natives they were depicting over here in these lands. All right, in the Americas. But not only his feet is big, so we hear about Bigfoot. They're looking at his foot, but take a look at the fingers. How much fingers does he have in the picture? All right, 6 fingers and a huge foot. But they're paying attention to his foot. So when I see them, I'm like, yo, they call him out Bigfoot, but he has 6 fingers. But it's the foot they're paying attention to because his foot is standing out more than the fingers. All right. Now I want to know what size feet are those? All right. So this is Bigfoot, image of Bigfoot. All right. And we're going to go into a little more. All right. And this is an image from Utah. So this is Utah. So this is Utah's ancient 6-figured Bigfoot petroglyph. All right. So this is what was found. And we're just looking at what different, this is in Utah. This is not in the Bible. The Bible coming from the Eastern world. All right. This is now in the Western world, in the North Americas. The same depictions, the same things that they were saying. And we're in these times now. So we're in the times where the natives were here. That's pretty recent. This stuff could still be transpiring because people still don't believe these things were even happening. All right, so we're going to go into Utah's ancient 6-fingered Bigfoot. So we're just substantiating more of what the Bible's saying, that there were actual giants. And then when you go into history, when you go into the natives, when you go into all of that, separate from what the modern world is trying to tell you and modern and the media is trying to tell you and the school system's trying to tell you, history's telling you something different. All right, so let's continue.
Utah's ancient 6-fingered Bigfoot petroglyph. Utah's Uinta Basin is home to some very unique rock art featuring depictions that aren't found anywhere else. These petroglyphs are often referred to as classic vernal style and are believed to have been created by the Fremont culture sometime between 1 to 1000 AD, 1200 AD. The most fantastic figure of all featured amongst these dry fork petroglyphs is what is known as Bigfoot, for obvious reasons. He is indeed rare, as no other figure possesses feet of this size, proportion, and nature anywhere in this style or region. Aside from gigantic feet, this figure also features a strange head. Is he wearing an elaborate headdress, or is this rock art depicting an elongated skull with horns? What's more, his hands on the left side of his photo features 6 fingers. The other hand may as well, but it is hard to tell for certain. Was the ancient artist depicting what he saw, or maybe what his ancestors say they saw according to their oral traditions? Might this be depicting a hybrid demigod from the old world that descended into the American Southwest in ages past?
All right, so this once again showing us that, first of all, that's the question. Are they depicting, is it artwork? Is it this? Is it that? But the reason why we're doing this is because, hey, how did they get this this is from the old world. How is this in the new world? And how are they have this legend of this? And how are they depicting them with the same things that was depicted in the Bible and all what was history prior? All right, showing us that in these lands, even that we're in right now, the same things was transpiring with people that are still here. Their bloodline is still here. Their stories are still here telling us about these things. All right, so we're not too far off from these things happening. All right, so we're going to continue on. We're just getting into some articles on over here in the Americas showing us that we're not too far from when giants were still here, showing us that the days of Noah is very much upon us. All right, and that they were here, they can be here still and showing themselves again. And we're going into the scriptures to show how it's going to get to that point of all out. We're in the days of Noah again, the same things transpiring, right? With the giants, with all of this stuff happening and them here with us. All right, but we're just getting back into that. We were here with them in history. We're still here. The natives were here with them. All right, but we didn't get into the point of the all out battle that happens before the flood. All right, so we're going into more stories.
Lovelock Cave, a tale of giants or giant tale of fiction. The Pawitis, a Native American tribe indigenous to parts of Nevada, have an oral tradition that they told to early white settlers of the area about a race of red-haired white giants, or barbarians, that their ancestors referred to as the Sitka. The story was written down in 1882 by Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, daughter of a Pawiti Indian chief, in her book, Life Among the Paiutes, or Paiutes. Their wrongs and claims. These giants were described as being vicious, unfriendly, and cannibalistic. In this story, the Paiutes speak of a great battle that took place which led to their extermination at site known today as Lovelock Cave. During the early part of the 20th century, archaeologists found thousands of artifacts inside this cave, leading to a lengthy excavation of the site and speculation that the Paiute legend was real.
All right, so we're seeing, all right, this is in Nevada. We're now in Nevada. We're at Utah. We're now in Nevada. All right, and they're telling oral traditions to early European settlers that the area, all right, that in this area there was a race of red-haired white giants or barbarians that the ancestors referred to as Sitka. So they were called Sitka. All right, this is written down in 1882 about the stories. All right, the Paiutes. All right, these giants were described as being vicious. Once again, when we're hearing about giants, they're always vicious, unfriendly, cannibalistic. All right, there's no jolly green giant. Okay, that doesn't exist. Giants are vicious. They wanted to kill men. They were killing men. This is why the Most High sent the flood, because we wouldn't be here if it was up to the giants. They would eat us. They would continuously kill us. The natives tell us about this. So they're always being described as being vicious, unfriendly, cannibalistic. We have the natives here talking about it. We went into ancient Tibet in Asia. We went into the Eastern world, all right, into the East, all right, where we're getting these records from, all right, the Bible.
These are just a few.
All right, these are just a few. So we're at different regions showing the same story here and coming from different sources.
Not only the evidence everywhere where you see like pictures of guys, you know, there's a big footprint in the wall of a temple, and the guy's just standing there, and the footprint's like huge, and he's like, not, the thing would just smash him, you know? So.
All right, so these giants, once again, were vicious. All right, great battles took place. All right, we're going to continue. Continue for us.
All right. Sitika or Saiduka literally translates as tool eaters in the northern Paiute language. The tool is a fibrous water plant, which according to legend was woven by giants into rafts in order to escape attacks by the Paiute. They used the rafts to navigate across what remained then of Lake Lahontan, an ancient lake that once covered most of northern Nevada during the last ice age. As the Paiute tale goes, after years of warfare, all the tribes in the area joined together to rid themselves of the Sitika. One day, as the tribes chased down the last remaining red-haired giants, they took refuge in a cave. The Paiutes demanded their enemy come out of the cave and fight, but the giants refused. The coalition of tribes proceeded to shoot arrows at them while starting a large fire at the mouth of the cave. The smoke drove out a few who died in the hail of arrows, while the rest were all either burned alive or asphyxiated. Over time, the entrance to the cave would collapse, leaving it accessible only to bats and cut off from human contact.
All right, so the Sitika, the same thing. When they would come together, God would give them the power to what? Take down the giants. And they were able to take down giants. That the giants, they were known as Sitika because they were tool eaters. And you would think that that word meant they're eating humans or whatever, but they're saying they're making these rafts and boats to get away from the people, the natives, trying to kill them. All right? So the Most High had empowered them. He empowers you to be able to fight against the giants. And we've seen that through David. We've seen that through David and Goliath. We've seen that through Og and the Israelites. So constantly, even when they are here, the Most High will give us the power for that. All right, so we have another depiction. All right, so this depiction is from Egypt. All right, so on the Egyptian wall, we have two men here with a giraffe. All right, and we have a monkey. All right, in the other picture, we have naturally what a man would look like in contrast to a giraffe. All right, we're just going to take a look at some information about giraffes to study the depiction that we're being shown, because they're showing us this stuff in the depictions. And these depictions, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. All right, we're discovering some of them. So continue for us.
All right. The average height of a giraffe differs between male and female. Male giraffes or bulls can be up to 18 feet or 5.5 meters tall, with a shoulder height of 11 feet, 3.3 meters. Female giraffes or cows can be up to 14 feet, 4.3 meters tall, with a shoulder height of 9 feet or 2.8 meters. Even baby giraffes are huge, a whopping 6 feet at birth. The tallest recorded male giraffe was one at the London Zoo called George, who reached an amazing 19 feet 3 inches or 5.88 meters. The tallest recorded female was Shaki, who is 22 feet tall or 6.7 meters.
All right, so just showing again, male giraffes or bulls can grow up to 18 feet tall. All right, the females, they can grow up to 14 feet tall. Even at birth, they're 6 feet tall. When we're looking at this image here, all right, a monkey is a decentable size, and that's why we're looking at the monkey with the tail. That monkey, all right, is not small. All right. This giraffe, these are adult giraffes. So it's showing you the size of these giants. All right, that these giants are about 14 to 18 feet tall that we're seeing. All right, so just continuing. All right, so we're now getting into how is it all going to come about in these days and age that we're in right now. All right, so we're going to go to Enoch, the book of Enoch, 56:1. And Enoch in his time, because Enoch was the one dealing with the giants. He was the one that reprimanded the angels and the giants. Enoch is now telling us what he is seeing, all right, in contrast to what's coming in the future. So Enoch is telling us the future of what's going to transpire with these angels. All right, so we're going to go into it.
It's the book of Enoch, chapter 56, verse 1. And I saw there the host of the angels of punishment going, and they held scourges and chains of iron and bronze. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, To whom are these who hold the scourges going? And he said unto me, To their elect and beloved ones, that they may be cast into the chasm of the abyss of the valley. And then that valley shall be filled with their elect and beloved, and the days of their lives shall be at an end. And the days of their leading astray shall not thenceforth be reckoned.
All right, so here what we're seeing, Enoch is seeing, hey, in the future, how the angels are going to be punished. And he's seeing the punishments that they're going to be, and how, hey, the elect is going to be there, and the angels are going to be cast into the valley of the abyss, and the elect is going to be filled with love and joy and happy, all right? Because the days of their life shall be at an end. All right, and the days of their leading astray shall not be reckoned. So it's going to be stopping. But before that happens now, Enoch is telling us that, hey, why it's happening in the end time. Why this is happening in the end time. Why he's seeing and being depicted this. All right, so we're at verse 5. All right, give us verse 5.
All right, it's the book of Enoch, chapter 56, verse 5. And in those days the angels shall return and hurl themselves to the east upon the Parthians and Medes.
All right, so this is why he's saying, so the stuff that happened and why the angels are being punished here and why the elect is happy that it's come to an end now, and the valley, right? This is the valley, what they say, the valley of Jehoshaphat and all of this, which is the Abyss Valley, this same valley that they're speaking about. All right, why is this all happening? All right, why did that all happen? And he's saying, because in those days, the angels shall return and hurl themselves to the east. So the angels, the fallen angels, they're returning to the earth. Same way that what Christ said, all right, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. Enoch is seeing the end of times and telling us what's happening and saying, why did this stuff transpire? Because in those days, the angels returned and they hurled themselves to a place. Where did they go? They went east to the Parthians and the Medes. He even gives us the people. All right. So give us verse 5 again and read it through.
All right, it's the book of Enoch, chapter 56, verse 5. And in those days the angels shall return and hurl themselves to the east upon the Parthians and Medes. They shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them, and they shall rouse them from their thrones, that they may break forth as lions from their lairs, and as hungry wolves amongst their flocks. And they shall go up and tread under the foot of the land of his elect ones. And the land of his elect ones shall be before them as a threshing floor and a highway. But the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses, and they shall begin to fight among themselves, and their right hand shall be strong against themselves. And a man shall not know his brother, nor a son his father or his mother, till there be no number of their corpses through their slaughter, and their punishment be not in vain. In those days Sheol shall open up its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up therein, and their destruction shall be at an end. Sheol shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect.
All right, so it's showing us that the angels, they're going to return in the end times. They're going to hurl themselves to the east. They're going to be on the Parthians and the Medes. They're going to stir up the kings so that the spirit of unrest shall come upon them. What is it saying? That war is going to happen. The same thing the young man was telling us. All right, are they leading us into war? Yes, they're leading us into all-out war that's bringing about the end times. All right, so you're not physically seeing them, but Enoch is telling us that, guess what? They're using the kings, they've here, and they're influencing the war that is happening in the earth again. All right, so they shall stir up the kings so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them. So the kings of the earth, they're unrest. When we're talking about Iran, you know who's angry? The Ayatollah of Iran, all right? The supreme religious leader in Iran, who's over the president. He's angry. All right. The kings in Russia. Who's angry? The church in Russia. Who's the king of Russia? The archbishop of the church that people are not aware of. He's backed by Putin. Putin is taking land for him. These are the people who are unrest, the kings of the earth. These are the kings. The Pope, he's hidden his anger. His anger is hidden and is shown through what America does because they've infiltrated America, the UK. So who he's angry with, or Russia doesn't want to deal with the Pope, all right, then I use these proxies. I use America. I use these people to war against you. But this is all the unrest that's bringing us into the wars that we're in modern day time. And it told us where it's coming from, the angels. The angels have gone and they're spreading this to cause unrest so that they shall arouse up from their thrones. Who? The kings. That they may break forth as lions from their lairs, as hungry wolves among their flocks. They shall go up and tread underfoot the land of his elect ones. So they're going now to try to take the land of the elect, take the Americas, take the UKs. All right, they shall go up. All right.
So this is why they're doing a lot like the governments and stuff, and there's a lot of satanic rituals going on and appeasing of these angels and their own.
Correct. And we know what? That the key thing with war was what? The technological advancements. We went through in Enoch and all of that. What were they showing? What do the angels know? Technological advancements. Who showed man the power of weapons and everything? The same angels. We're now in modern day time. Where are they getting this technological advancement from? Where are they getting the understanding of missiles from? All right. All this came from angel knowledge.
I tell you that, it could be alien knowledge.
Yeah.
Alien just means from another place.
Yeah. Or unknown, right? Yeah. All right. So once again, and it's saying that they shall begin to fight amongst themselves, and their right hand shall be strong against them. And this is the same thing that happened before the flood, because the Most High made what? The angels and the giants, their sons, he made them fight. How do we know that? Because they have the what? Clash of the Titans. So the same stuff is happening again in our time where we lead up to an all-out war because they think they're going to enjoy what's happening, but the Most High makes them fight.
So is Iran and like the other Islamic countries, like Parthian, I never heard that. I know the Medes.
We're going to get into all of that. All right. So we're just going to get into this last part here, the last page, and we'll stop there. All right, so once again, and what did the Most High says? He says that there shall be no number of corpses through their slaughter. So we know that over here, we're like, all right, we live life. all the people dying on the eastern part of the world, there's a lot of people dying that's showing us what? Hell must be opened up because what Enoch is saying is happening. Because over here, you're not seeing bombs, missiles go, people getting down. We're constantly hearing news about the east and missile, this taken down, these people dead, this what's going on, Israel, Hamas, all of this stuff, missiles being hit. We don't live that way over here. But the same place that he said the angels will hurl themselves, this is where the stuff is happening at. And it's telling us that what? In those days, Sheol, hell shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up in. Their destruction shall be at an end, and Sheol shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect. So the sinners and all of them in the environment, they're all getting swallowed up through the death. All right, so we're just wrapping up on who are the Medes and the Parthians.
All right. This is from the Britannica Encyclopedia. Mede or Media, ancient country of northwestern Iran or Iran, generally corresponding to the modern regions of Azerbaijan, Kurdistan, and parts of Kermanshah. Media first appears in the text of the Assyrian king Shalmaneser III from 858 to 824 BC, in which peoples of the land of Mada are recorded. The inhabitants came to be known as Medes. Parthia, ancient land corresponding roughly to the modern region of Khorasan in Iran. The term is also used in reference to the Parthian Empire, 247 BCE to 224 Common Era. The first certain occurrence of the name is as Parthava in the Byzantine inscription in 520 BCE of the Achaemenian King Darius I. But Parthava may be only a dialectal variation of the name Parsa or Persian.
All right, so just showing us again that Media is a country of northwestern Iran. These are all in Iran. All right, these are Iranian people. All right, Parthia, same thing, a people in Iran. All right, these are the regions the angels are studying from and then spreading out their stuff from. And this is what we're seeing here now. All right, especially when we're talking about war, when we're talking about technology, when we're talking about advancements. All right, this war that the Most High is bringing about, he's using the angels and their influence to cause the kings of the earth and all those who are wicked to come to a battle and a fight in what's called as the Valley of Jehoshaphat, that they're eventually going to do the same thing that was the clash of the Titans, the same thing they were coming to now, where they're all going to fight again just like in the times. And then they're going to come against mankind, and this is what's going to bring about the coming of the Son of Man, all right, to once again what? Deliver us, to save us, all right, once and for all. All right, so with that being said, we're going to stop right there for this week. All right, and we're going to go and wrap it up. We're going to go to Isaiah 50. We're going to go to Philippians 4 and 8. All right, Philippians 4 and 8, and we're just going to close it off here.
It's the book of Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true.
All right, so what's true? It's true that what? The sons of God went into the daughters of men, and they created giants, men of renown, stars, influence. All right, and the angels used their star power, their influence, to become beautiful, to make the daughters of men commit adultery and to sleep with them. And it's true, all right, that the daughters of Cain began to show their flesh, which is what enticed the angels. They began to show the revelation of the flesh. All right, from this revelation of the flesh and the lust of the angels, in the conception that happened with the angels and the woman, came giants, all right, who were evil, wicked, murderous, that began to slay all things of mankind, began to eat everything, began to destroy everything. After they were being worshipped, after they were making images of themselves. The flood came because mankind was complaining to the Most High, and he wiped them out. They were still here after the flood, and we were going through the records showing that after the flood, they were still big. They were still large. We showed even to recent times that they were still being shown bones, right, that have gigantic gigantism, all right, syndrome. The native Indians showing records explaining that there's giants. Artifacts, Bigfoot with the same 6 fingers spoken about in the scriptures, spoken about in the Josephus. We went into the ancient book of Tibet, all right, the book of Xi'an. And we seen in the same book, it's telling us that these giants made images and stones of their own likeness. They made people worship them. A flood came. It destroyed the giants. It destroyed the huge animals. What are the huge animals? Dinosaurs. Christ told us the same way that it was in the days of Noah, so shall it become in the coming of the Son of Man. We went into the scriptures to show that Enoch sees the angels coming back and heading east and hurling themselves on the Medes and the Parthians, who we've identified as the Iranians. All right, and we're just showing that once again, the revelation of the flesh is around. The giants are around. The war is around. The times of Noah is around. Continue for us.
Whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you.
All right. So once again, those things you've heard and seen us do, the God of peace will be with you. So you constantly get nearer to God and believe in him, even if there's angels around, even if there's a giant obstacle to tackle, even if there's a giant goal to tackle, a giant anything that you're tackling. You're with God. God can help you tackle that. And that's also being emphasized as well. It doesn't matter how giant something is. That's why the Most High made giants. Because you'd be like, oh, God can't help me. He can help you in any giant situation, including actual giants. All right? As long as you believe and come near unto him. That's how we have giant slayers and all of that. These are people that had faith in God to be able to do that. With your faith, you can slay the greatest of giants. All right. So with that being said, continuously believe in Christ. All right. This is the SC Community Church of Christ. We want to say all praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Yeshua Christ, who the world calls Jesus Christ. This is the SC Community Church of Christ. My name is Archbishop Shamar.
And I'm Bishop Mike Allen.
And that was our Sabbath report / lesson. The fallen angels and giants, the revelation of the flesh, part 3. Peace of.
Only the children of light is gonna understand this.
For there are 3 philosophical sects among the Jews, the followers of the first of which are the Pharisees, of the second, the Sadducees, and the third sect, and the third sect, and the third sect, which pretends to a severer discipline, are called deceived. These last are Jews by birth and Jews by birth